The Homework Club by Sue Lee. Swoosh, swoosh, crunch were the sounds of the gold, red, brown, and orange leaves as I walked through them. I breathed deeply, smelling the cool air. It was my first fall season in this new country. "Hey, can you kick that back?" I realized a boy from my school was shouting and waving at me. What did he want? I felt my stomach jump. I couldn't understand him. Then I saw the ball rolling past me. I had seen the boys playing soccer before. I swung my leg back and wham! Amazingly, it went right to the dark-haired boy. "Thanks! Nice kick!" he shouted. I waved quickly and ran the rest of the way home. Sound words. Some words help us hear the noises that objects make. Wham! A punch or kick. Crack! A branch breaking. What words help you hear sounds on this page? "What is your hurry?" Ma asked me as I arrived breathless. "I don't know," I said, leaning against the door to close it. "But I see a smile. Is this the first smile in America?" Ma ruffled my hair. I grabbed a rice ball off the counter. "Wait, those are for your lunch." I ran upstairs. I dropped my book bag on my bed and flopped down to eat and think. I guess it was my first smile in America. My friends back in China wouldn't believe that I went a whole month without smiling. They always tease me about my goofy smile. Just thinking of my friends in China wiped the smile from my face. I finished eating the rice ball and opened my book bag. Math first, I thought. It's easy. We were reviewing decimals. Math is one thing that is easy for me. I was trying to do my reading homework when I heard the front door open and close. I stuffed my books into my backpack and ran quickly downstairs. "Pa! Pa!" I shouted. Pa whirled around and tossed me a new soccer ball. "What?" I gasped, trying to catch the ball. I missed it. It bounced into the kitchen. "Not in the house," Ma scolded. I could tell she was pleased to see Pa in a playful mood. "Now, where's the girl?" Pa asked, hunching over and pretending to look for my sister under the kitchen table and in the front closet. "She's at Mrs. Min's house. I will phone her to come home for dinner," Ma said, picking up the phone. At dinner, Pa asked about my math class. I told him that it was easy for me. I added that many of the kids in my class didn't understand the lessons. There must be a way to help them make progress. Ma was getting that glow in her eye. Back home, she was a school teacher. When we decided to come to the United States for Pa's job at the university, Ma took a year off. "What they need is a private teacher," I shrugged, thinking it was hopeless. "That's it," Ma smiled. "We will start a tutoring club." "What?" "No, it's too hard. Where will it be?" I didn't like the idea of my mother teaching my classmates. What if they made fun of me or her? We can ask at the community center. The room next to your Tai Chi class is empty. I could see Ma was already making lists and plans. "Can I make the flyers?" my little sister asked. "Of course you can," Ma said. "Gary will help you." My mother used my English name without hesitating. "And I'll ask Mrs. Min if she'll tutor you in English and reading. You know you need help with that." Ma was right. I was having trouble in reading. "Fine, it's settled," said Pa. "You call Mrs. Min and the community center tomorrow. Gary and I make folders." "Flyers!" my sister and I whispered at Pa. "Yes, flyers. And maybe Mrs. Min will check over the English on the flyers. We all need help with that." Pa laughed and finished the rest of his soup. Past tense. In English, the past tense of a verb is often formed by adding ed to the verb. For example, jump, jumped. If the word already ends in e, then just a d is added, like, liked. Change these verbs into the past tense by adding ed or d. Dash, open, close, pretend, need. The next day, I walked slowly home from school, dragging my book bag behind me. I didn't look to see if the kids were playing soccer. I didn't even think about my new soccer ball. All I could think about was how poorly I did on my first reading test. My cheeks turned pink with shame. Tears stung my eyes. I was afraid that my family would think I disgraced myself. Thank you, Ma said, and then hung up the phone. It's really happening. We can use the community center on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays after school. The director loved the idea, and Mrs. Min can help on Mondays with reading. Ma was too excited to notice my face. I slipped upstairs as she headed toward the front room. Monday came quickly. I was able to hide my reading test until just before school on Monday. I caught Ma as she was busily packing up supplies for the first day of the tutoring center. Don't forget, she said, come straight to the community center. I'll need your help greeting all the kids. Your mother said she talked to quite a few students from your class, and their parents are sending them. Ma, you have to sign this paper for school, I gulped, holding my hand over the grade. Something in my tone of voice attracted Ma's attention. What is it? She tugged the test from my hands. This is a low score, right? On your first test? I felt my eyes sting and my face flush. Well, we are starting this tutoring center just in time. She smiled gently and signed the test. After school, Ma and I arrived early at the community center. Ma had cleaned the dusty old room. It was bright. There were posters about reading and math. The tables had been washed and arranged around the room. Ma stood proudly in the center. Well, what do you think? She asked, holding her arms out. It's great. You're great, I said, wanting to thank her for signing the reading test. As I sat down at one of the tables, I turned to see 5 kids from my math class slide into the room. Mark, the soccer player, looked up and gave me a small nod. I cleared my throat. Hi, this is my mother. She was a math teacher in China. She can really help you guys with your math. Yeah, I need it, said Sarah. I just don't understand decimals. I mean, how can you add or multiply numbers with a decimal point? And where do you put it? Sarah talked a lot in class, and I guess outside of class, too. Well, why don't you sit down? Soon, Ma had us practicing the times tables and eating snacks. Ma had remembered to buy American snacks. Gary, your mama's cool, Mark mumbled, crunching a pretzel. I looked up and saw her helping Sarah with decimals. Yeah, I said, she is. That's when I saw Mrs. Min come in. Mrs. Min waved to my mother. Mrs. Min tapped me on the shoulder. Your ma thought you could use a little extra help in reading. I blushed, glancing at my classmates. Mark and Sarah were looking at me. Can you help all of us with our reading book? I don't understand it at all, Sarah asked. Why don't you finish your math, and then I can take over on reading, Mrs. Min suggested, looking at Ma for approval. This will be a good homework club. Ma grinned and pointed to Sarah's paper. Just 2 more problems, Sarah, she said. Mrs. Min had some good ideas. She had us read silently and then aloud. Finally, she made us stand up and perform a story scene like a play. Walking home from the community center, I was feeling better about reading. Now I knew I could get a better grade on my next test. I looked up at the purple sky. Nearly all the leaves had fallen. Only a few strong ones fluttered in the breeze at the top of the trees. The stars were starting to come out. I saw part of the White Tiger, the Big Dipper. Why did Americans call it the Big Dipper? I wondered how Pa would answer that. I would ask him over dinner. I pulled my backpack tighter and ran to catch up with the others. The cold, crisp air felt clean as it filled my lungs. Talk about it. 1. What kinds of problems do the students in the story try to solve? 2. How do you think the tutoring club will help Gary, Mai, and Gary's classmates? Write about it. 3. On a separate sheet of paper, write about how Gary begins to feel more comfortable in America. What helps him to feel more comfortable? Draw and use a web like this to help you get started. Extend language. The suffix less can be attached to the end of a word to make a new word. Breathless means without a breath or out of breath. The suffix full also can be added to the end of a word to make a new word. Playful means full of fun or play. What do you think hopeless and hopeful mean?